you're going away for a long time. And doing so will put a smile on my face. The first one in over 20 years.
It sounds like you have some really unresolved issues you need to talk about, man.
I resolved my issues a long time ago. She's the last one. And he points at ataraxia.
I'm sorry, but we are on official business here.
How convenient.
I assume you are
so
as
am
well.
I.
Ours might just trump yours.
I have a feeling it doesn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get permission from the king to, be here and do this? And try to gather prisoners to help the city, who's currently... He kind of looks around, struggling with fashion supplies because all the ships are being, destroyed, and we're looking for extra help, and we didn't even know that any of the people here would even be willing to do it, and we're trying to create a skeleton crew to actually kind of do something about the problem. Are you going to do anything about the problem that's ailing the city, or no? Are you just going to sit here in a cell waiting for us to come around?
We're just dumped.
Oh,
Got it.
You said a lot there. So the first part, yes. The second part, I don't care. The third part, sure.
Yes, there's a shore right there, and it's dying.
Okay, so no. See, I think introductions are in order, and he goes to put out his hand. I am High Marshal Dane.
Okay.
I operate directly under the Emperor. I bypass the typical chain of command of the Empire's military structures. I serve him directly, and I outrank anyone in this tower. I will be taking her. Thank you for your cooperation.
No,
Caleb,
you will not.
Grab High Marshal Dane's hand, and in one of those ye old medieval forearm holds.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm Calix, nice to meet you, and you will not be taking her on orders of the Emperor. We have a mission we must do, and he kind of holds him there as well.
Give me the orders of the king.
On the orders of the king.
Same person.
Emperor King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On orders of the Emperor, we have a message to spread.
And you look like a man whose mouth works, so I don't think she's necessary for that message to spread.
She is very necessary for that message, sir. With all due respect.
I'll take that respect. Thank you for giving it. That doesn't change how this is going to end. The person you are so courageously and admirably defending is a wanted criminal. That woman right there has attempted to kill several people, and they are, to this day... Your lies are unnecessary. I'm talking to your friend. To this day, they barely cling to their lives, decades later, afflicted with poisons that the best healers in the Empire can't cure. She has caused economic downfall. She's had people stripped of their rank, lives ruined, cities reconstructed, entire chains of command reworked. Everywhere she goes, disaster has followed, and then she spent the last 20 years hiding like a rat in the woods.
The only person telling lies right now is you.
He looks to the castigator. Have I said a single lie? To which the castigator will look at Calix and his eyes will flash gold, and he will go, no lies have been detected in this conversation.
Only things that you believe are true, then.
They are true because I witnessed them to be so.
You witnessed Ataraxia committing these crimes?
I've witnessed the evidence collected, as I was the one who collected it. I've been on her case now for longer than probably longer than she thought I would have cared, or that anyone would have cared.
You didn't tamper with any of it?
I absolutely did not. To which he snaps his fingers, and the castigator will repeat that no lies have been detected.
So you believe that there's zero chance that she is innocent?
There's not a sliver of doubt in your heart. Not a single shred that thinks maybe it might be somebody else.
You are 100% certain?
All the evidence available points...
That's not what I asked. Yes or no? You want to be all high and mighty, you got a castigator. Answer.
I do not think that there is a more suiting individual to this crime than her.
That is such a lie.
Yes.
Dane, you've known me most of our lives. What do you mean?
I've known you your entire life.
So then you know I'm not capable of that.
It's because I know you that I know you were capable of that.
Were doesn't mean was.
That's exactly what that means. Actually,
What?
grammatically, that's exactly. In fact, that's literally exactly what those words mean. They're both past tense. So you see the way the common language works. is that those are exactly what they mean.
Physically capable doesn't mean actually capable. Like,
I know what you were trying to say. It just didn't come out, bro.
Oh God, Calyx is dying.
I'm dying.
So by the way,
that made me choke.
you still haven't answered my question.
I have no reason to. I outrank you. Your question is a standard straw man argument, one that it is not worth answering. Whataboutisms get nowhere in a legal sense, so I see no time to waste on them.
So you're just doing this for a high mighty ego grab because you don't even believe 100% of it's true.
No, I'm doing this because A, it's literally my job. B, it makes me feel good. And C, I'm avenging several people she has wronged, and in doing so, making their lives better. You could argue it's a quote-unquote net good.
Wait,
There's no hang-ons in the middle of a conversation.
Well, there is now.
I mean,
I'm going to start talking to the orc again. Turns to Calyx, because Cole just pulls out his notebook. What do you mean I don't need to do this? You don't get to tell me what I need to do after all this time. People move on. Time marches on. You stayed behind. That's not on me.
Dane, I understand that you're upset, and I understand that you think you know what happened, but you weren't there.
Then do me the grace of explaining. Give me an explanation so good that it completely overwrites every piece of physical forensic evidence that's been collected over the last 20 years. Give me an explanation so flawless that it rewrites the bounds of reality and undoes what has been done. I will allow you that. Castigator, restrain her the moment she tells a lie.
Okay, there won't be restraining, but Castigator, please say and announce if there is a lie. Can you agree to that, at least?
The Castigator looks at you. I do not follow your orders.
No, I'm looking to Dane when I say, do you agree to that, at least? Not the Castigator, I'm sorry.
Oh. Well, if you say that...
You and I both know this is a volatile situation. I don't think grabbing immediately is the best idea.
There should be follow-up questions.
He looks at you and he goes, volatile implies that I'm in a threatened position. Dangerous for you, yes.
Perhaps.
In case you didn't notice, we're in front of you. He's behind you, and he points at the giant suit of mechanized armor that is currently sandwiching you two. And then he will kind of twick his neck, and you watch Castigator 2 turn into mist, and he appears behind Kazric. And he goes, and now that's 3.
Sufficient. So, again, nobody reaches quickly for anything. Agreed?
I'll make my decisions based on what she says.
Fair enough. And Calyx will pull out a shield, though.
Do you activate it?
No, I do not. He kind of puts it down in front of him, showing, like, I'm not holding it in the left arm for attacking, but more of a defensive kind of in between me and Dane.
He takes note of that. And he kind of, like, raises an eyebrow.
Wouldn't you also protect the ones you think are innocent? Hi, Marshal Dane.
I would if I thought they were innocent.
Then we're on the same page. Addie?
Okay. Trying to collect my thoughts here. No, I have a question for Dan.
Oh.
To be or not to be?
That is the question.
It is indeed a question.
He looks at you.
Do you know how I even ended up at boot camp?
I do.
How?
Mom and Dad loved you far too much, and they were willing to break far too many rules to set you up on a path they felt best for you.
Well, maybe I didn't think it was best for me.
Obviously. No one runs from what's best for them.
So you agree that it wasn't best for me?
Obviously.
But why are we even here?
He raises an eyebrow.
If you agree that Mom and Dad sending me to boot camp and forcing me into a service that I never wanted to be a part of wasn't best for me, why are you here punishing me for trying to escape from something I never wanted to begin with?
If you think the reason I went through all this is simply because you ran away, then you've massively misinterpreted this situation. I don't know what you've been told, learned, thought about, whatever, these last decades. Wherever off in the woods with your gestures to person and cell, mentor, best friend, whatever. I have 2 men in a coma, poisoned with natural remedies that only woodsy people like she could have made, immune to every magical treatment. Those guards were the only 2 guards between your bunk and the way you escaped. The knife they were stabbed with was the knife from your issued kit from boot camp, when you left your belongings behind and moved off into the woods to do God knows what. The poison is on the blade. Your bunkmate admitted they saw you sneak out. The time they saw you sneak out exactly matches up with when these men were attacked. Everything points to you. We did an inventory the next morning. Everybody was accounted for. Every weapon was spotless. The only person with any single shred of weight against them was you. And even then we vouched for you. We looked desperately to find you, knowing that if you had simply come back, we could have explained this situation. Instead, you disappeared. And what happens? 2 men go down, investigations start. The first people dragged down were Mom and Dad. When it got found out that they used their influence to get you a preferred seat instead of you having to do the standard process, arguably something as simple as bypassing paperwork, which everyone has done, the second men get injured and it becomes a conspiracy, someone has to take the fall. It was both of them. They had their ranks stripped. They were banished. I haven't seen them in 15 years. They aren't allowed to leave the East. They now spend the rest of their natural lives constantly under threat by the beast folk over the river because you had to run away. And what, you got caught? You got scared? I don't know what you think happened, but let me tell you what happened, because it's the only thing that could have happened. You got busted. You couldn't own up to it. You panicked. You ran. You fled. You hurt those men. There's no one in that area with the training necessary to make this except her and arguably you, because you were always a free spirit. You were always learning more. I watched you grow up, and I know, unfortunately, that you're intelligent enough to pull that off. And I wish that that is what I could have told them on the stand. But even eventually, when they came for me, I defended you. I defended you knowing that one day you would come back and you would make it all right. And you never came back. You were off gallivanting, turning into deer and birds, and eating berries, and skinny dipping in rivers, while the rest of us had our lives deconstructed brick by brick. They sent me to work slave duty at the fucking fort to the south for over 15 years. I had to deal with orcs every day. They tried to kill me every day. The only reason I'm alive is because I killed them first. Finally, after God knows how long, I was able to finally get an audience with someone who mattered, and I was able to convince them to make me a marshal, and I immediately worked my way up. I have found everyone I've been sent to find. I have prosecuted everyone I've been sent to prosecute, and you are next. Because I know, and you know, there's nothing you can give me right now that could disprove everything that I have.
I may have seized an opportunity to escape that night, but I did not hurt those men. And Eddie's going to look to the castigator to see if he does anything.
The High Marshal twitches and looks at the castigator also. There's like an awkward triangle of eyes where everyone's kind of looking at each other and everyone's expecting the castigator to say something. But he doesn't say anything because neither of you have lied.
I don't know what to say to you right now. I never wanted you or Mom or Dad or anyone to get hurt. I was afraid that if I ran, I know it's a crime to run from the service, but I couldn't stay, and that's why I hid for so long, because I didn't want to end up here for just trying to live my life. It wasn't fair.
Obviously it wasn't. Life never is. I wish we could all wave a magic wand and our lives are perfectly fair in accordance with all of our moral and ethical values, but that's never the case. That's what family's for. They try their best to make the best out of a bad situation. I understand it's not what you wanted, but it's what they had the ability to offer. The fact of the matter is, you didn't trust us. You think I was going to allow them to just enlist you in the random military service? Spend the rest of your 80, 90 years of youth slaving away, doing odd jobs, tinkering armor, polishing boots? Of course not. If you had just trusted me. The reason I got punished is because I went behind Mom and Dad's back. I was going to have you, within 6 months of you graduating, I would have had you in a scout legion. You could have asked to move to any place on the continent at will. You would have basically been a free person with a pension. And it would have been the best situation for you. You could have met people from every country. You could have met people from every city, seen animals, plants, creatures from every corner, every walk of life, and when that finally got boring 50 years later, I would have had you sent to the north. But you didn't trust us, and you ran. And I don't know why he's not telling me you're lying, 'cause it has to be you. But running has done nothing but drag everyone around you down.
How am I supposed to trust a family, keep me safe, when they went behind my back and forced me into something I never wanted?
Because they were your family. They're the only people on this world who would ever put you above themselves. All the power they had, the people, the influence, they've spoken to dragons, they've fought rival kings, they've spent 100 years on this world. They know things. They're not always the best about saying it. No parent ever is. But they don't do it because they wish to punish you. They don't do it because they wish to teach you a lesson. They do it because at the end of the day, it would have been best for you, even if in the moment it wasn't the most enjoyable. And I wish you could have seen that. You were young, I get it. We don't all make the best decisions. But sorry isn't going to unbanish our parents. Sorry isn't going to unmuddle 1,000 years of Winala family history. It's all gone. It's in the mud, buried. I can't even use my name anymore. I'm High Marshal Dane now. That's it. Even that was stripped from me. You don't even use your name anymore. Ataraxia.
What if I find them?
Find who?
Mom and Dad.
Bold of you to assume they'd wish to see you.
Even if they don't, I will find them, and I will do what I can to fix what happened.
Listen. For some reason, he's not apprehending you. I don't know what's going on here. Part of me
He's
thinks...
not apprehending me because I'm not lying to you, Dane.
Or you don't know you're not lying to me. Clearly I have more investigating to do. I can't arrest you yet, it would seem. If you wish to make your peace with our parents, they're at Fort Black and White. They're not allowed to leave. They can never come back. But if you make your way over there and you speak to them and they wish to speak to you, maybe, if it matters to you, you can get their forgiveness. But if you want to actually fix something, then, and he'll look at your friends, I suggest the mouthy ones who accompany you, when they're in between their world saving, he says, doing air quotes with his fingers, convince them to do some investigating of their own. Someone committed crimes that night. If the only crime you committed was leaving, I don't care. We've all run from something in life. 20 years on the run is penance enough for that. We can work with that. We'll call you saving the world or whatever, breaking even, parole, whatever. If you want out, find who attacked those men. Find how they attacked those men, what they attacked them with, and why. Bring that to me, here. We might be able to work something out. And you could start getting to a point where I call you my sister again. And then he snaps his fingers, and both the castigators will misty step forward. And then he's going to start walking.
Bye, Dane.
When he gets to about here, he'll go, "See you around, Calix," and then
Okay, give him my name.
he'll go, "By the way, I've always been one step ahead of you." And then you watch as all of the chains, the bindings, like the hood, everything, it all falls off of Rayleigh. And you watch as she steps forward and walks up, like they just fall off, like they were never locked. She steps forward to the bars, and you watch as all the pigment from her skin disappears. And in her place, this creature stands.
As soon as Addie sees that it's not her, she's gonna turn to Dane and immediately start storming towards him.
Wait,
Dane. Screaming, "Where is she? What did you do to her?"
And then as he leaves the room, he'll say, "Looks like you have two things to look for." And then as you round the corner, you watch as they touch the stairwell, all three of them turn to mist and disappear up the stairs.
Oh, damn it, I wanted to ask him about Slash.
Shouldn't have been so combative.
What do you mean? Combative. Defensive, not combative.
What is defense but half of combat?
Nah. What? No.
Hey.
Addie, are you
best
okay?
Defense is a good offense. Wait. I'm retarded.
Yeah,
but... best...
So are we still doing this ship idea and actually trying to get prisoners, or what are we doing?
Yes, I'm still down for the ship. I want to go on the high seas.
Pirate adventure.
Breathing is going to get heavier and heavier until she eventually just screams and fist meets wall.
The guards see that and they just... Okay.
Hey guys, she just needs a minute.
We're gonna go.
Okay, guys.
We're gonna go to the break room. They go into the break room and they close the door.
Kazric is gonna reach his arm up and touch basically against the middle of Addie's back. I figure that's all I can reach, right?
That's weird.
I don't know exactly what's going on here, but it seems like for the moment she's not here, which, for better or worse,
she was never here.
Means we have time. We'll help you solve this.
He could be dead. For all we know, we're looking for a body, not a person.
Could be skinny dipping in the river, turning into deer and birds and shit and flying around.
Addie's gonna glare at Cole. I'll have you know that is not what I spent 15 years doing.
So are we gonna go ask these other prisoners?
Brontes, do me a favor, roll an Arcana check.
With bated breath.
Well, he was moving around. Oh, yay!
23. With a 23, you will recognize that the creature in the cell is a creature known as a doppelganger. You know that these creatures are employed by governments typically to impersonate high-profile individuals, and that they can create forms based on creatures that they've seen, and they can polymorph into them, and then they can draw on the memories of people around them based on the people that they are in order to do things like answer questions or impersonate voices. As far as you are aware, you are fairly certain this premise functions only if the creature that they are mimicking is still alive.
That's very good information.
If he tells you that, yeah.
Yeah, right?
I relay that to them.
Yeah, in Brontes' words, please. I would like that thing.
Brontes looks down. God told me.
Oh, shit. Okay, fair enough. I can't argue with that if it's the winds. Addie, do you need a moment?
I need a lot more than a fucking moment.
Well, fair enough. We'll go see if anybody else is interested in this plan, because we do still have to help this city. And maybe, if what Pronti said is true, if that doppelganger can speak, maybe he has some kind of information, because I believe they have to see them, like Pronti said, at least once.
Let's go talk to it.
As the party agrees on the next stage of their plan, emotions high, sadness in spades. More questions now than answers they've ever had. All, of course, bundled with the new information of pirate excursions, monsters in the mountains, and the ever-inevitable ambush from the stars. That is where we will end tonight's episode. Until next time. But yeah, when we left off, you had what the kids would call personal moment, and you have decided that you wanted to. You've decided that you wanted to break off from the very loud party, who had a lot of opinions of the events of what happened, and have a moment to yourself. You have walked off, and you now find yourself at the front gates to the HQ of the prison that you were just in.
Whereabouts is, like, housing?
Housing is kind of where you are. The vast majority of the city is military in some capacity. So if you're Navy, you basically live on your boat or in the naval yard, like in their barracks. And if you're infantry, you basically live in the HQ in the barracks or in the walls, where it is all just like, that way you're always, in case an attack happens, you're always basically already at your station. There is no like housing district, because there's such a small population of non-combatants that if you have like your own store, you probably just live at your store, like upstairs or downstairs.
Okay. And I feel like to clear her mind, she would probably walk towards Tinzal's first.
You make your way down through town. Obviously, town is large. It takes you several minutes. You have to cut through the center of town, where once again, you walk past the gallows that you know that at one point your master probably would have hung at, except for the fact that apparently that wasn't your master, and more than likely was never going to hang at. Questions for later. And yeah, and you continue your way down, and eventually you make your way in front of a very quaint-looking bookstore. It looks not run down, but definitely rustic, and it is definitely had a nicer coat of paint on it at one point, but for right now it just has a very quaint feel, a very familiar quaint feel. It's a different bookstore than the one you remember, as it has been over 20 years, but it still appears to be the same place that you used to seek refuge.
Okay. Gonna make my way in. And is the person that owns the store still the same person?
It looks like it's different. As you step inside the store, you see what appears to be less of a store and more of a private collection. There are shelves and shelves and shelves of books, almost like that of a library, but they lack any sort of inherent metric system. They don't seem to be broken up by genre or by type. It just seems like a place full to the brim with books that someone likes. There are stacks of what seem to be random, unrelated books on certain tables in different piles, looking like piles of books someone started and simply hasn't gotten back to finish. And the only person you notice in the store at this time is a young girl, maybe early 20s, sitting behind a counter. She appears to not have noticed you come in, as she herself is reading the first of what appears to be a stack of 5 or 6 different books herself. She appears, like early 20s, brunette hair, very thick glasses, overall relatively not unseemly, but definitely doesn't stand out in a crowd, that's for sure.
Okay.
Hair is not done, no makeup, clothes don't match color-wise, very not put together, you could say.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Guess she's gonna start, like, going through all the shelves and seeing if she recognizes any of the books as, like, one of her favorites.
I mean, going through the shelves...
If she can find them.
I mean, going through these shelves is difficult. As mentioned previously, there is no, like, sorting system. It's not like, oh, go here for the light novels, go here for the textbooks. You almost have to kind of just walk up and down and look for colors or like art copies of covers that you recognize, or particular spines. that looked more weathered than others. Over the course of a few minutes, I will say you find a couple old novels, ones that are, well, ironically enough, kind of a fantasy-esque novel, something that allowed you to dissociate from the world you were living at the moment, things that seemed less real, less serious, less problematic at the time all those years ago. The copies are noticeably weathered, as they seem very old, and more often than not, you find that that series has had 2, 3, maybe even 4 sequels that are also randomly scattered throughout the library. It seems that your books of comfort, while they still exist, have not waited for you and have moved forward.
Mm-hmm. Can I, like, collect all of, well, however many I can find of, like, the series of the favorite book?
Yeah, I'll say you find what is initially like the quote-unquote introductory copy that you're familiar with, and you find that at this point, one of the more notable ones is now functionally a published trilogy. Without reading it, you don't know if it has ended, but you find at least 3 different books in that entry, each approximately the same length of time, thick enough that it would take you the majority of a day to read all 3 consecutively, but it's certainly something to do in your downtime.
So after she collects them, she's gonna approach the woman at the counter. She's gonna hope she notices without saying anything first, though I highly doubt she will.
Oh, she has no clue. You could rob her blind and she would not notice. You could tell she is enraptured in whatever it is she is reading. Obviously, the book is spine down on the table. It's impossible to see what it is she's reading. But whatever it is apparently extremely entertaining. So much so that her attention is 100% drawn into it. I will say, with your passive perception of 15, you are able to see the words on the paper. At first, you think it's a difficulty of trying to read what she's reading because you're reading upside down. After a few seconds, you realize that is not the issue. The issue is that she's reading in a book in a language, written entirely in a language you do not speak.
Oh, fun.
It appears that every quote-unquote word on this paper is some sort of scrawl. Scratches and slashes and hatch marks of some sort of old language that you, up to this point in your journey, have never seen written down. Maybe if you heard it spoken out loud, you'd recognize it, but at least in terms of formally on paper, it's not one you've studied or seen.
Okay, Addie's gonna, like, clear her throat to try to get her attention. Just like
Once you kind of cough, you see her head almost like snap up at a 90-degree angle, like clearly caught off guard at a person's basically from going from non-existent to 2 feet in front of her. She snaps up and looks at you. There's several strands of hair cover her face down behind her glasses. She looks very startled, but kind of takes a second and kind of fixes herself and stands up straight, or attempts to. You see as she goes to get up out of her chair, she has this very pronounced almost slouch that she has to kind of like intentionally straighten out into. It seems that she spends probably a large percentage of her time hunched over, more than likely reading, given everything you've seen about this so far. Almost to the point where probably not great for her health, but there's a lot about her that seems like it's not great for her health, and you're not a doctor and she's not your patient. She does eventually, though, kind of like push the hair out of her face. She straightens herself up and she looks at you, and in a very quiet, very mousy voice, she looks up and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Is there something I can help you with?"
Yeah, I'm sorry to startle you. I just was wondering if these books can be purchased.
She looks down at the books you're holding and she goes, "Oh, absolutely. If you're buying the whole set, and I do recommend it, I'll give them all 3 for a silver. That seems fair."
Oh, yeah, okay.
Definitely. If I'm being completely honest, no one actually comes here. This city is so dark. It's so rigid. No one ever has time for reading and imagination. If it's not military strategy or warfare history, nobody cares. Nobody has the time to care. You're the first person I've seen come in here in days.
Believe me, you're preaching to the choir. I used to read, well, at the time there weren't 3 of them, but I used to read this a lot when I was a kid to not think about how dreary and dark it was here.
Aren't books great for that? The ability to almost transport yourself somewhere else, if only for a time. An amazing way to bypass the harsh realities of the world we live in.
Incredibly.
Some would say literature was the first magic.
Maybe it was.
I like to think it is. You know, I've spent so much time in this city. In truth, hasn't been all that long chronologically. Only a year or so since I took over the building from the previous owner, but in that time it feels like it's been a decade. Every day is just the same. Waking up, watching patrols march colorlessly, flavorlessly past in the streets. That week's hanging goes off and everyone uses the tragedy to distract themselves from the monotony. I can't say I'm a perfect person, but I at least find that what I gain my joy from, and she gestures to the books around her, has to be better than living like that. At least I need to think so.
It sounds like it's gotten worse here since I left.
It's gotten... I can't say when exactly you left, that's your business, but I will say it has been noticeably worse since the previous Sept died. I mean, it's a strange occurrence, really. There's always been unrest in the city. The nature of it being so iron fist, so militaristic, has always driven some people to act out and to rebel. They are usually quashed, but there's always a few. However, if the rumors are true, that the city received an anonymous tip that an attack was to be launched by the orcs in the city of Fishbane. The previous Sept couldn't allow that to stand. He led a force, an advanced force of his personal scouts and bodyguards to Fishbane to occupy the city prior to the attack, to give them a fighting chance. But him and all of his personal guard were slaughtered on the way, ambushed. By orcs, it would seem, if the reports are to be believed. They never stood a chance. They had no idea that they would have had some way to know that that's what they were doing. Ever since then, military command has been rigid, been strict. No smiles, no joy, no second chances. You follow the rules, or jail. One could say they've overcorrected, undermanaged. Opinions vary. It definitely seems like a combination of fear about something and a very rigid old way of thinking on account of the new Sept, more than likely from the way he came about being in the Navy. Then again, I've never met him. I couldn't tell you.
I spoke to him for very little time, but I can definitely say he's got a, old attitude.
She perks up at that. You spoke to him. He's the highest ranked military officer on this side of the Empire. I'm sorry. You must be an incredibly high-ranked general. I've been so rude to you. The books are free. You don't have to pay for them.
Oh my gosh, no. I'm not... I am nothing special, and I'm definitely going to pay for the books, and you, if anything, have been a breath of fresh air on a day when I needed it the most. Not once have you been rude.
I'm sorry that your days have been so bad that talking to little old me has brought up your spirits. You seem like such a nice girl. You shouldn't have to have bad days. At least I don't think anyone really should.
I've had about 2 decades worth of bad days, so...
Oh. I wish I could empathize more. You've had bad days about as many as I've been alive. I certainly can't say I remember many of mine, especially when I was younger. Though I know for the majority of my upbringing, I've always been alone. Only recently have I been able to make what I would call my first friend, though she can be a bad influence, but she means well. I think navigating around the situations that we face our lives with the help of the people around us, are what give us a chance to actually make it through. Not necessarily the right way, but easier to understand what we need to do.
I completely agree. I also recently made some friends that have made getting through this life just a little bit easier.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I guess you could say you're on the proverbial upswing. Hopefully today marks the last of your 2 decades of bad days, she says with a giggle. Though life and the gods have interesting ways of building our characters. Very rarely do they leave us with lives of pure joy or pure agony. Usually you have your ups and your downs, and the downs are there for you to grow, and the ups are there for you to remember where you came from. I know even me, I can't speak to too much, but I am waiting for, funnily enough, to make a few more friends myself, because I have found myself in a situation where I want to do something right, I want to help, but I know more than anything that it's not something I can handle. So I've decided to keep the store open, to branch out, to meet new people, and maybe hope to find someone or someones who are willing to take the risk, or are willing to do what's right.
I wish I wasn't doing this without the rest of the party. What exactly are you looking to do?
Oh, I wouldn't want to burden you. I mean, you said you've had such a rough time about it, and you're finally making headway on what it is to be you. I wouldn't want to be the reason that your life starts to swing back down. It's certainly not fun, that's for sure. If it were a night of reading books and drinking wine, you'd be the first invitee, but that unfortunately is not it.
Let's just say my friends and I aren't exactly strangers to helping others do the things that they need to do or want to do, and I am absolutely all ears for you to tell me what it is you're looking to do.
Well, if I'm not imposing, like I said, I wouldn't want to be a catalyst for misfortune, but the friend I made recently is someone who is very good at acquiring information, albeit in ways that are not always legal. She intercepted, I can't say from where, the seeds of a plot in the city. It's just suspicion. There's nothing concrete, but it would appear that a group of individuals inside the city have aligned under what one could call a malign purpose. I don't know if her information is to be trusted, but, and she'll kind of lean in like, even though this is a clearly empty bookstore with literally nobody in it, she almost leans in extra close to you to whisper it, just out of that much caution. And she'll go, it would seem there is a cult of demon worshippers, or at least the attempted start of a cult of demon worshippers, somewhere in the city. Obviously, you can't simply report it to the military. With no evidence, they would assume you were crazy, or that you were in on it. But demon worshippers do not exactly walk around in the daylight, so acquiring evidence would be equally as impossible. But if it were true that they were here and they were left to fester, it could cause significant damage to the city. My concern is that the timing of what happened with the previous sept what's happening now with the city and what's happening now, honestly, in the Empire, like the entire Empire. I mean, there's been rumors of military crackdowns in the capital. Fishbane has been under attack for days. I don't even know if there's anyone left surviving. I've heard rumors that half of the city of Orange Bloom it left the city for some reason. No reason was given, but it's basically abandoned. Something is happening, and I don't know if it's related, but if it is, it would serve as evidence that it's maybe not seeds, but it is a plant that has far since sprouted. And either way, it needs to be identified or plucked.
Do you have any other information about this group? Like, how many people there are in it? What they look like?
Nothing definitive. If I had something concrete, I would have assembled everything into a document and I would have anonymously reported it. But what I was able to parse through the information that was received and that my friend was able to acquire is that it seems, and this is going to sound foolish, but trust me, I'm being honest, there seems to be some sort of, how would you say, reverence to cows.
Reverence to cows?
Yes, like, whispered speakings and references to, frankly, idiotic signatories like he who moos, ritual carvings on the skin in the shape of hoof prints of bovine, a reverence to people who look as though they have antlers, or people who will wear prosthetic antlers to denote some sort of, I'm sorry, not antlers, horns. I wish cow had antlers, that'd be cool as fuck. Oh yeah, cow horns. Something, things along those lines almost to establish a sign of authority. I don't quite know what it all means, because frankly it sounds like gibberish, but I will be the first to acknowledge I don't know anything about demons. It's a forbidden subject, and while I love learning, and I've dabbled in more than one or two, like air quotes, forbidden topics, I try my best not to break the law, but information is not one to be hoarded, it's one to be learned. I've never come across books that specify things about the abyss, things about the occult, separate to devils, except of course for the teachings of the church in the foundation of the world, the issues with the demonic portal, Ophis' sacrifice, things we learn in church and things we learn in our bedtime stories, but I don't know enough about the specifics to know the details of whether or not this is some childish prank or whether this is something serious. And like I said, I'm not in the position to investigate. I'd very quickly lose my life. And my friend is not in a position to, let's say, walk around the city freely. She has far more rules ascribed to her than I do.
Does this friend have a name?
She does, but not one I think I'm in such a situation where I'm allowed to give it just yet.
Okay.
She has been very insistent on the nature of her anonymity at this stage. To each their own,
okay.
As they say.
Of course. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure I got your name.
Oh, I'm the proprietor of this bookstore. I'm Tinzal.
Tinzal. It's great to meet you.
Likewise.
Nowadays I go by ataraxia.
Ooh, what a pretty name. Like that's straight out of literature. Like words plucked straight out of a story.
Thank you. It was given to me by somebody very close to me.
Well, if they have a penchant for reading, you know where to find me.
Yes, I do. And Addie's gonna drop a... Actually, hold on a second. Let me see something. No, but I will say I gave her... She said it was like 1 silver for all of it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her like 5.
And she'll go, oh, no, this isn't necessary. Your happiness at reading literature is all the reward I need.
Well... You helped me out more today than I think you know, so you deserve it.
I refuse to leave a customer on an uneven balance. Let me say this. If your friends you mentioned, if any of them are fans of reading, or even if they just need to do research, know that they're welcome anytime, even after closing. So long as they're with you, I'll take that as a vouch if they need to study or research, or if they're looking for something in particular. Consider it a open invitation. Even if I'm asleep at my desk or upstairs, I trust you to be respectful. Moreover, and she leans in again, if you do decide to investigate, for you to ask the way you did, I can tell you have confidence in your friends. Tell them, and of course yourself, please do be careful. I am not a rich woman, but my friend can get many things. There is a reward if you can solve the issue. Whether the solution may be discovering that it was all a sick joke, or removing weeds from the garden that is this city. Whatever it may be, I can't tell you what the right thing to do is. I can only tell you that if the right thing is to be done, I can arrange compensation on behalf of a third party.
I will keep you in the loop if we see anything.
And I thank you for that. But please, like I said, prioritize your safety.
We will do our best.
And then she will nod to you, and she'll take the 5 silver and she'll put it in like the drawer for the desk, and she'll go, if you need anything else, I'm here. I hope the rest of your day is as good as this conversation has made me feel. And she gives you like a soft smile.
I hope your day is just as well. And then Addie's gonna make her way out of the bookstore with the books in tow.
You can put this one in your inventory. You can add the saga of the Queen of the Bands.
Did you just make that up off the rip?
Making it up would imply that I wasn't ripping off something else. Think about it.
The saga of the Queen of the Bands?
Yeah, think about it.
Oh god.
Synonyms. Use synonyms. What's a synonym for queen? Queen is like a ruler, right? What's another word for ruler?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who lords over someone. So like a lord.
Oh Jesus Christ!
And then a band, like a wedding band, could also be described as.
I got it.
And of course, there's 3 copies, so it has to be a saga, right? It's not a trilogy.
Right?
A trilogy would imply there are 3 books, unlike a saga, which implies that there's 3 or more books. So it's because it's ongoing. It's completely different, you see. Yeah, like I made it up myself. Me, OPP Ophis. But yeah, you leave Tinzal's, and you leave with what you can imagine is 3 books and far more information than you probably thought you'd get solo in a bookstore.
100%.
But hey,
I am definitely going to be texting the group chat tonight, like, hey guys, new side quest.
But hey, you were the one who went in there first, so it works out.
Yeah.
Kinda didn't think that was what's gonna happen, but it works. Kinda thought it'd be Psy.
That probably would have been a much better side conversation considering the illegal workings of the friend.
Oh, who said illegal? She just said secretive.
No, I'm pretty sure she actually used the word.
She said it wasn't always legal, but just because something isn't legal doesn't mean it's de facto illegal. It could be a gray area.
That's like quite literally what that means.
No, it's like a loophole, you know? It's like, yeah, officer, I'm not allowed to kill people, but, you know, I feared for my life, so it's technically he's still dead, and I'm not in jail, so, you know, if you think about
Loophole.
it. Loophole.
Okay.
You look out onto... You're in what is like kind of a market district. Like there are definitely a lot of pop-up stalls, small shacks that sell miscellaneous trinkets and goods. Nothing particularly valuable, nothing particularly noticeable. It's far from a market district. It looks relatively run down. This is in line with what that guard said that you spoke to when you first entered the city, that a lot of the mercantile areas have kind of been outcompeted by Moonglow, which you haven't been to yet, but you imagine is probably that giant building you saw at the front of the marketing district. And
I kind of already know what Moonglow entails.
Yeah, and it is more than like that they have worked out a lot of the competition, though it seems that more niche subjects like this bookstore are more than likely not worth edging out, so because the profit's not there, so they have kind of been left to just exist. Things like handmade trinkets, books, pens and paper, like the stuff that isn't worth the margin, it seems Moonglow has not yet attempted to outcompete yet.
Got it. Do there seem to be any, like, older people selling anything? Like, maybe let's say have at least, 15 or so years on them?
Yeah, right. I mean, there's definitely like stalls and shacks that it looks like they're being run by like 55, 60-year-old people. I mean, they don't look particularly recognizable or notable, but they certainly look old. You have more generic store where it's like a stall that is just like one giant like 10-gallon pot, and it's like you're paying a copper for a cup of soup basically, instead of going to like a restaurant or cooking for yourself. Very small scale, old style shops like that. This person is making like handmade metal artwork of like earrings or whatnot, but with no stones. It's just kind of like bent metal, very rustic looking, but very unique. No two pieces are the same, for better or for worse. That kind of thing.
Okay. I go to one of the handmade jeweler ones.
Of course. You walk up and there's a relatively old man. It looks like time has worn away a lot of what you think was once a relatively strong individual. He may have worked in blacksmithing or leatherworking, but it seems now the only thing he has left is more than likely his dexterity. And you see that like the last strong thing about him is his hands. And you see that a lot of this jewelry is like different pieces of different colored metals that have been almost symmetrically twisted, warped, bent, and split in very unique, almost helix-like or cylindrical or symmetrical patterns. It's certainly not something you've seen before. You don't think it's particularly valuable either, but depending on your particular motif, it could be very, very noticeable.
Looking for an earring sturdy enough that it can be hooked onto a tiefling's horn.
You say that out loud?
Yes.
Okay. He kind of rubs his chin. The idea of like a tiefling, despite his old age, he does not seem to particularly react at that. Like, at the very least, he is more interested in the fact that he's making a sale than who it's for. He kind of looks at his different like boxes that he has out in front, and he kind of does a once over of everything, and he kind of like strokes his chin, and he'll say like, I don't have things that can pierce a horn, if you're looking for that. But in terms of adornments, I have a few. And he'll pull out like a little box, and on the box you'll see a lot of these. They're like a series of interlocking hexagons. Each hexagon is a slightly different shade of silver. Similar, but noticeably enough different that you can see the individual layers. And every 3 or 4 layers, there's like a gold or a bronze colored layer. Probably not actually gold or bronze, some sort of Damascus appearance. and it looks like they're horn caps. So like you could put the body of the art onto the tip of the horn and kind of like block it into place, and then it's like hexagon shaped, and then the kind of twisted bent metal decal will like hang off of the top of the cap in like what you could assume is earring-esque. It would be the best that he has.
Okay. How much are you asking for that, for one of those?
For one of for one of those, it's a lot more metal than the typical. And you could see him doing like internal math in his head of like, he needs to ask for enough to make money, but he also doesn't want to ask for so much to walk away. And you see it at a certain point, he kind of ultimately settles in his mind. He's like, I can do 8 silver.
Okay. I'll add to my inventory horn.
You put
You can
put metallic horn ornament.
Okay, I'm gonna thank him
and then put parentheses Damascus so that I remember what it looks like.
Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to thank him, give him a nod, and mosey on my way.
He gives you like a half bow and like a thank you for your business.
She's not gonna have any business in the naval yard.
You should investigate alone the abyss cult. That'll be fun.
The what?
Yeah, you should investigate the abyss cult alone without telling your friends what you're doing. It'll be funny.
The abyss cult? No.
No, you should tell Tinsel, be like, I got it solo, all me. I'll conjure some wolves. We'll sniff it out right now.
Hell fucking no! I am not pulling an Onyx right now.
No. Onyx had a chance.
Yeah, okay. Trying to think what else I wanted to do. I don't really have a reason to go to the Broad Bowl or Moonglow. At least not right now.
You can go to Moonglow just to see what they're selling so that you can tell your party. Be like, hey, do you guys want to buy any of this shit? Because you know that's where they're going to go the second I let them off the leash.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I'll go to Moonglow and just check it out.
You kind of cross the city and you head to Moonglow. At Moonglow, you see a very, very pretty woman behind the counter. One you have not met before, but attractive nonetheless. She seems older, maybe in her mid-40s. Very, very long blonde hair. Wearing almost... wearing almost... I don't want to say like a ball gown, but it's definitely a very like slender, very overly gaudy, lean dress that kind of draped down to the floor like with trails. And it definitely does not match any of the vibe of this city, but you could tell it absolutely does match the vibe of the inside of this store. You enter this store and it does not appear like a store, like a department store or anything like that. You open the doors to this building and you see inside this building there are multiple dozens of stalls. Each of these stalls has different people. Each of these people sell different things. This is what probably the closest you could think of to a department store, like a ye olde Costco, where there are just people at tables and each table has a different specialty and each specialty has a different thing, and it looks like every single thing that has been competed out of this city is because she has added a table with her own person who sells that thing for cheaper. And inside the city, and it's very lavish. It's very like not dance hall, but it's very like wedding reception, locate hall type vibe. There's flowers everywhere, including in her hair. It seems like her hair is weaved into multiple of these like white and red roses. And you see center in the room of this big open area is what appears to be a 3-to-1 statue, so about three times as big as real life, made entirely of hand-carved marble of her, making the exact same pose she's making right now when you walk in the door.
Okay.
She seems far more egotistical than the last store owner you spoke to today.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna approach her.
You approach her and she's like, hello, darling, how can I help you? Bouquet at your service.
It's a very fitting name. I was wondering what you have currently available for sale.
Yes. I assume you're inquiring to some of our higher-end specialty items, as all Moonglow locations sell the typical adventuring supplies, healing potions, stuff like that. Climbing kits, the usual of that. But as for the things that I'm most proud of right now, absolutely. I can tell you now that currently in stock, I have actually several magical items that might be interesting to a... She'll kind of like wave her hand like very ostentatiously, like to those of us who have a very go-getter attitude when it comes to encountering those who maybe don't wish to be encountered so much. And she kind of walks you over to like one of the nicer tables. You see this is less of a table, more of a countertop, also marble, of course. And then on it is multiple glass cases. In order, she'll go, this is for the more musically gifted of you and your friends, your party, if you will. This is the Kenteldon mandolin. And she gestures to what appears to be a small mandolin, glowing faintly blue with magic. She goes, if you're talented enough at playing instruments, you can utilize this instrument but not only to cast your spells, but also to charm those who hear the music. And if you're particularly powerful, it even lets you cast some extra spells. Next to that, you'll see I have a pair of goggles. These goggles are not only good for weathering a sandstorm or two and protecting your eyes from sand, fog, debris, what have you on the high seas, the salty spray, they're also magic. Whoever wears these goggles can cast the spell Scorching Ray once per day for absolutely free. On top of that, I have this, and she'll gesture to what appears to be a silver and gold twisted headband. It kind of flares up into the front, and it has this big diamond-shaped blue and green gemstone. And she'll go, this is one of my personal favorites. This is my headband of intellect. Whoever wears this headband will have their intelligence magically increased the entire time they're wearing it. Perfect for those who are happy to solve puzzles or take on another in a game of chess or any other activity you might need that requires quick thinking. And then, of course, our centerpiece, my magnum opus. This was created by multiple members of my family after we recovered scraps of what we believe to be an ancient Triton civilization that was found miles offshore underwater through the use of several underwater breathing potions and spells of water breathing. After much effort, we were able to craft this, and she gestures to this giant, like 6-foot-tall mannequin made of metal. And it's made of metal because on it is this suit of plate mail armor. This thing looks like it weighs like 200 pounds of solid metal. The entire thing has a ton of like gold, silver, and black filigree. And inside the filigree, you see what looks like hand-weaved, almost paintings of liquid metal of different fish, humans with fins, maybe even like a mermaid or two. And as you stare at them, it seems like those little depictions almost seem to move ever so slightly, like they're replaying an interaction that you can't quite see when you're looking directly at it. And she'll go, this is the armor of the sea god. It's the most expensive thing I sell, but whoever wears this armor will more than likely, asterisk, this is not an official endorsement, be the strongest and safest person you've ever met. If they're strong enough to even wear it, that is.
Not to correct you, but I would just like to clarify, you said sea god, don't you mean sea bitch?
No, this isn't okay, so this is the Umberly thing. People keep getting this wrong. So Umberly is the god of the goddess of the sea, right? But that's for people. So in the ocean, there are not people that act like people. Those guys had a bunch of like magic stuff. We took it and made this. But they thought it was like a god of their not people. So we took the name. I'm pretty sure the Church of Umberlee would actually kill me if I took Umberlee's religious artifacts and attempted to sell them for profit. My family's pretty powerful.
Most definitely.
My family's pretty powerful. I'm pretty sure they couldn't stop an entire church. Probably. I don't want to see, that's for certain. That being said, for all this is, I am incredibly resourceful and incredibly connected. If you needed something specific, I have my ways of getting it here relatively quickly. I would simply have to charge not only for the item, but also for the level of effort and inconvenience it took to get. But it can be obtained with more than likely fair certainty. Not to, what do the commoners say? Toot my own horn? I'm fairly capable at what I do.
Good to know. As of right this moment, I'm not sure there's anything I need, but I am traveling with a few people that may be interested, and I will send them your way when I regroup.
Oh, I'm more than happy to do business with them. Like I said, on your way out, we do have the normal stuff. So, healing potions, that we have custom healing potions that allow you to drink them faster than average. Those are also for sale. We have a number of those. If you feel as though you might be accosted.
It's a bonus action instead of an action.
Yes. So there's healing potions, and then there's speed slurp healing potions. They cost slightly more, but they can be used as a bonus action.
I love it. Speed slurp.
Yeah. It's the same ones I made for Clovecross that nobody bought. And then they're like, oh, we're taking so much damage. I was like, damn, if only there were fucking potions that you could drink as a bonus action. Oh, Ophis, how can we beat the demons? There were only 3 of us. We lost too much health. Well, imagine, if you will, a world where you bonus action drank a potion, action attacked, right? Imagine what the fucking economy would have looked like then. The gods would have smiled upon thee, I feel as though this is true. Anyway, I'm not bitter, you're bitter.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
You're not the person I'm mad at.
I believe it.
Anyway, those are 75 gold. Unless of course you conveniently knew like the one person that gets a 5% discount at this store, but as far as you're concerned, he doesn't exist.
Isn't that?
She doesn't actually say that. You know who it is, but like you know that.
I know who it is.
You know not to buy anything because you could just come back with Brontes and get it all for cheap. But she is like, oh, 75, that's a steal. That being said, with how absolutely up her own ass she seems, you genuinely don't know if she'll actually abide by that. She might be like,
probably not.
My stuff's actually worth a 5% upcharge. So, marble statues of oneself don't carve themselves from stone. So.
Oh boy. All right, yeah. So that's all I need. I'm not getting anything here.
Oh, well, until next time.
I guess I'm gonna start heading. The only other thing I can think of that I wanted to do was try to find, Eleonora. So, I'm guessing. I guess it would either be I'm gonna head back towards headquarters to like where I knew she used to live, and hope she's still there, or I'm gonna ask if I know of anywhere in particular that she might be otherwise.
And who are you going to inquire with?
Well, I'm asking you.
Oh. You're not just gonna ask random people on the street, hey, have you heard of this person? Do that 30,000 times and eventually you'll find her.
That is not my beginning plan, no.
Darn. No, yeah, I will say, yeah, your options are you can attempt to go back to basically the barracks and try to find, at this point, what would more than likely be an older soldier, maybe someone a rank or 2 above your entry-level guy who has worked his way up rank, and ask if that's a familiar name. You could walk around that area and hope that you bump into them. you could always go back to the Sept and be like, hey, sorry to bother you. Can you disclose the location of one of your people for important reasons? And he might do it. You do know that you are actively working out a deal with him, albeit he currently thinks that you're interviewing prisoners for a suicide mission, but still.
I think my first thing is definitely going to be to go to the part of the like living quarters that I know where she used to be, and kind of like follow the tracks from there if she's not immediately there.
Yeah, well, you basically make your way back through the city. As you're leaving Moonglow and you make your way 5-10 minutes past through the city center, you do have to walk past what definitely looks like a seedier area of town. The houses are significantly more run down. You see what you assume to be homeless people, or people whose clothes definitely don't look as good as they used to. They look relatively in shape, but they certainly don't look like soldiers. A lot of people are openly carrying weapons, and no one seems to acknowledge that, but they don't look like they've trained with them. They look like they just have to carry around weapons in that kind of the city. You see noticeably less patrols of guards and soldiers don't walk through that area for whatever that reason may be. And you do notice at the center of it, there is a relatively, despite how early it is in the day, because remember, it is like 10 a.m. currently, you hear like the sounds of raucous drinking, gambling, uproar, bar fight. Like there is certainly activity of some kind happening in this seedier area of the town, centered around this bar. On the front of the bar, there is no sign, but there does appear to be what appears to be the face of a large black like steer with these big black horns, and it has been almost stretched. Like you grabbed one corner of each face and pulled it, and you assume this to be the broad bull that you were told about by Tarlek the champion back in Clovecross, when he told you to stay away from it because it's dangerous.
I will heed his warning and avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, you make your way, you avoid that, and since you avoid that, nothing happens. No one calls out, no one runs after you, you don't get mugged. Though, God help whatever mugger attempts to mug the person who could summon 2 grizzly bears. So, I mean, hey,
yeah, right?
To each their own. That'll be a wake-up call. Turn your life around, or else.
Addie doesn't really feel like getting in a fight by herself right now, even if she can do it.
And then, yeah, you eventually make your way back to Military HQ, to where the barracks area is. You do make your way back to that area you remember the two of you being, and you realize that you are once again in what appears to be the private's quarters. Certainly the least lavish and least upkept section of the barracks, as it is for the privates who are either in or just finished basic training. And there's a 0% chance that a lot of them drop out or quit or just decide that they want to do their years and then leave. So there isn't a lot of effort put into them because they don't know that they're not necessarily locked into having a future in the military, so resources really don't want to be wasted on them. And yeah, you find yourself in that area. Everyone who walks past you doesn't seem to acknowledge you. They just kind of assume, because you stand there with a sense of authority, that you're supposed to be there. But you notice everyone is like 18, 19. They all look like freshly recruit.
Yeah.
They're young. Like the oldest is 20, and it's maybe because the way that their birthday fell. They missed the cutoff last year to do basic, and so now they're the oldest of their year because of leap year or some arbitrary technicality. Like people here barely have facial hair. They're basically kids.
Yeah. Can I go to the quarters that I knew were Eleanor's and see if they're still hers? Though I doubt it.
I mean, you go to the quarters and you're met with a stone door. On the stone door, you see 4 name slits. One name slit has no name in it, and then the other 3 are names you don't recognize. They're relatively generic names. It's like Private Johnson, Private Harold, Private Rindle, and these are names that you don't recognize. You think, I mean, it's impossible to tell without going in, but you think more than likely this room has more than likely been reassigned at some point in the last 2 or so decades.
Definitely.
Or Eleanor changed her name. That's an option. And then also never got promoted and never left her private dorm.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not it. I'm not knocking. Actually, I will knock.
Okay, you knock on the stone door. You hear a bit of shuffling, and eventually a young, maybe 18-year-old, dark-skinned man opens the door, and he looks like he's wearing just like his underclothes, like his skivvies, like a t-shirt and boxers, and he looks kind of like startled. He's like, "Oh, I thought my shift was over for today. What's going on?" And then he sees you, and he's like, "I'm sorry. Who are you?"
Sorry to wake you. I'm looking for somebody. Eleonora Aberos.
He kind of looks at you and he's like, I can't say I. Are they in this class? Like they're in this year's basic?
Definitely not. They may be higher up at this point.
If it's one of the officers, I mean, I just got in here a few months ago. I haven't really learned a lot of the names yet because if you call them their name too early, they beat you and make you do push-ups and make you work way harder in front of everyone. So I've been calling people sir and ma'am, to save my life. Maybe one of the officers goes by that name. The officer I directly report to is a Staff Sergeant Rames. He might know more. He's probably stationed. Let's see, it's 10 o'clock. My night shift ended 2 hours ago. He should still be up doing his paperwork from last night's mission. He does he rolls his eyes when he says mission. We watch the walls. But he might be in his office. If you just go down the hall here all the way to the end and then up the set of stairs where you get to the officer's quarters, he might be able to help you if he cares to speak to you. I mean, he's not... I didn't say this, but he's certainly no ray of sunshine. Very few people here are. He giggles.
Okay. Thank you for your help. I hope you sleep well.
Thank you. I hope next time we speak, I'm wearing clothes. And then he closed the door.
Addie's gonna...
Military humor, baby.
Addie is gonna make her way up those stairs. You
make your way down, and after a few minutes, you kind of look around. Eventually, you go up to the next door, and there are these wooden doors and what appears to be these offices. They look significantly nicer, and eventually you do find one that just says Staff Sergeant Rames. It's cracked, and you can see a light on in the office, and you hear the sounds of what sounds like scribbling of a pen and parchment. There appears to be someone in there.
I'm gonna knock.
You hear a who is it?
I didn't think about this. I don't know how to interact.
I don't know any ums. Get out.
I was debating on if I should use ataraxia or if I should say Private Winala.
There are certainly pros and cons to both options.
Yeah. I feel like one of them actually gets the door open.
Turning into a grizzly bear also gets the door open. Just doesn't help with the conversation afterwards.
No. You know what? Fuck it. I go hesitantly. Private Winala, sir.
You privates need to know when to take your time off. You're wasting your few hours where you're not working talking to me. Make it quick. Get in here. Make it quick.
Eddie's gonna enter the room. Very clearly not a private.
Yeah. He goes, "Why are you dressed like that? And also, why are you way older than all the privates? And also, why don't I know you? You're not a private here."
Correct, I'm not. At least not anymore. I'm looking for somebody, and I'm hoping you can help me.
I don't give dating advice. Please leave.
That's not what I'm looking for, though I appreciate the offer. I am looking for, an Eleonora Aberos.
He raises an eyebrow when you say that name. How do you know that name?
An old friend.
And he kind of pauses and looks at you. And he's like, an old friend, huh? Interesting choice of words.
Well, it's a very honest choice of words.
That's what concerns me. I remember, must have been 20 years now, I was still an up-and-coming private first class. I remember a person like that getting investigated, and eventually she was... You can see he kind of chooses his words. She was asked to transfer, but her answer was irrelevant.
She was transferred.
Yes. She was on track to make lieutenant within her first 3 years. Her performance in basic and her introductory positions were flawless. Her physical ability was amazing. She was intelligent. She passed all the war games. But she got herself into trouble when... And he kind of like, as he's talking, he's kind of putting pieces together. When the daughter of a very important person was investigated for very serious crimes. A private Wanala who vanished and was charged with... And at court was charged despite her absence.
Oops.
A person who 20 years from then would probably look just about like you in the face anyway.
That's so.
Yeah. Which begs the question, because you don't look enough like her for me to arrest you, why are you being dumb enough to use the name of a fugitive? Is this some sort of prank?
I was just hoping a private name would get me in here to speak to you easier than my real name.
That is a very dumb way of thinking. I'm on
the spot, my guy.
If you had done like that to like anyone else on this floor whose shift didn't end 2 hours ago, you would be in cuffs. Don't do that again. I don't know what the end goal of this is, but I will tell you this. She is more than likely still in service. From what I heard, she specifically was not found guilty of any abetting crime or anything that would get her stripped, but she was under significant suspicion those first few years. It would have made asking for a transfer or a promotion very difficult. More than likely, they sent her somewhere with low activity that she could be monitored, assuming she would make contact with the runaway, he says, rolling his eyes. If I had to take a guess, they probably sent her to the border crossing up north, somewhere where the entire area has nothing but fort. The only people there are military, and they could be under watch 24/7. No one gets in or out of there without paperwork, so they could guarantee if she interacted with someone suspicious. Then again, this crime was 20 years ago. If they still care, she's still there. For all I know, 5 years after that, she could have requested to go east or to work the border down south. I couldn't tell you.
Do you know anybody that might be able to tell me?
Probably a marshal or a general. Depends on where she ended up. If she ended up in the punitory legions, which is unlikely given the fact that she was technically found innocent, but it wouldn't be the first quote-unquote accidental placement we've ever seen here. She would more than likely... Yeah, wink, wink, nudge. She would more than likely have been placed under the direct command of someone undergoing punishment themselves. A way to earn their second chance. If this were the case, they would have been sent wherever that marshal was sent, and they would travel with them until such a time that military command decided that that platoon had earned their pardon. If she was just thrown away somewhere to be out of the hair of the military but can let her continue her service, you would probably have to speak to a regional general. The Sept, if you talk to his assistant, might be able to pull records, but if she went to the marshals, that record's probably not in their paperwork. That would probably be with the archives in the Capitol.
Perfect. So another manhunt. Okay.
I was under the assumption she was a woman, but I don't judge.
Both the people I'm looking for are women, actually, believe it or not, so...
I don't judge. Again. Like I said, no dating advice here.
Actually, where can I go for dating advice now that we're talking about it?
Any private. Literally, they fuck like rabbits. I swear to God. Like, I can barely get them in armor in time. It's really fucking annoying. I said, like, the amount of people I've got to pull out of their daily because they're pregnant, because they got pregnant within a month of being here, because apparently no one knows the safe practice of pulling out on time, apparently. It's really aggravating. But so apparently they've all got game because no one says no down there, apparently.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Or, you just go to the seedy part of town and buy one. But, like, money.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I'm gonna go now.
Goodbye, person whose name I don't know.
She's gonna salute him right before she closes the door.
Really committing to this fake soldier thing. I can respect it. Please never come back. And then he lets the door close. It's a good thing. It's a good thing staff sergeants aren't particularly bright members of the military. He said, earning the ire of 30% of the military structure by saying that. But in my personal experience, I could have gone harder. I could have said he was in communications. They love it when I make fun of them. Who's gonna fix the radio? Only I could do that. Yeah, sure you could, buddy.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm gonna get shot. They're gonna come after me. I'm a little too heated right now. Pokin's estate's gonna come after me, and the military's gonna come after me. Every GWAT vet's gonna be at my house.
I know Dane's not gonna tell me where she is.
If you could find him.
Yeah. How many investigation checks would I have to make to find him?
I'm tell you right now, you're not finding him. He has intentionally made himself not findable.
Okay.
It seems like, much like you had to go about the city and investigate things, based on what you told him, it seems like he probably had to leave the city to investigate things. And it seems like you're both now verifying each other's story.
Fair enough.
I mean, maybe the Sept could get you in contact with him, though you know that all manner of magical contact that you're aware of has to be voluntary. You could, like, send him. No guarantee he responds.
Yeah, he's not responding.
Like, you could send him a paper bird. I don't know if he'll care or send one back, but you could certainly send him one. He can't stop you.
Oh my god, you just reminded me of something I wanted to do!
Send a paper bird?
No. Can I send an animal to Riley? She sent one to me.
Do you have an animal?
I'm sure I could get one.
Okay, well then we gotta do that. You're in the middle of an industrialized city. There isn't exactly funnily enough, yeah, there are pigeons around, but you need to get a pigeon first.
Bet.
Yeah,
Addie's on a mission to get a fucking pigeon.
So are you gonna go to the gallows and see if you can't get like a pigeon that's hanging around?
Yes, I am. That's
You
exactly
go to the site. You go to the site where people are murdered once a week, and you're like, man, I hope there's a dumb bird hanging out around here, hoping to pick up scraps.
You're telling me the center of the city, basically, where 9 times out of 10 there's food and things for pigeons to pick at, there's not going to be a pigeon?
I'm not saying there is going to be a pigeon. I'm saying it's just a very morbid place to find a pigeon. That's like,
well,
oh boy, I need a pigeon.
I know it's the best place to
I need
find
a pigeon. Let me go to this Native American mass grave. It's like, okay, or you could have gone to the park. You know, it's like you didn't have to go there.
Is there a park?
No, but like in any other city,
exactly.
The park. You can. What if Tinzel has a pet rat? You could be like, hey, you got a pet rat I can borrow?
I can't guarantee it comes back.
You're right, which is the funny part. Yeah, I mean, I guess say, yeah, you go. There are pigeons and stuff in the town square, so you're gonna need to make an animal handling check. Yeah, with a 21, you are able to eventually coax a pigeon into not being completely scared of the random person trying to approach them. The spell requires you to give them food, so I'll say mark off 1 ration because you basically need to give them the food to like as quote unquote payment up front, I guess you could say. So mark 1 ration off. I know you guys never use rations anyway because double Outlander, but still.
I'm gonna be really real with you right now. I don't think I ever put rations in my inventory because every time you tell me to mark off a ration, I don't have one, and then somebody goes, oh, I give Addie one of my rations. Or we're like, oh, she's an Outlander, she can make her own rations. I've never, like, actually added rations. It was just assumed that I could make it.
Okay, well, in that case, unfortunately, the city is not a place where Outlander activates. It doesn't have the resources for you to harvest or forage. So you're going to need to leave the park, go spend 3 silver on a ration pack, go back to the town square, and then give it to the pigeon. Please.
Can I take the pigeon with me?
Yes, you could take the pigeon with you. The pigeon expectantly waits on your shoulder, thinking, man, I should have been fed 20 minutes ago. But someone didn't check to see if they had bread on them.
Jesus Christ, you just scared the shit out of me. Why do you do this to me?
The pigeon just leaves. You know what? You missed your window. All the pigeons hate you now. You're blacklisted. Yeah, so yeah, just mark off 3 silver.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take. Yep, okay.
You buy a ration. Okay, now and then don't bother adding rations because you're gonna take the ration off anyway, and you give it to the pigeon. The pigeon eats the ration, and I assume you're casting Animal Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Click Animal Messenger for me.
Hold on.
Okay. So now you're specifying the recipient, and I assume you're gonna give the name and a general description of what you know her to look like to the pigeon. You get a message up to 25 words, and the beast will travel for 24 hours, covering about 50 miles per 24 hours because it can fly. It's a pigeon. Mm-hmm. If she is further than 50, the pigeon will go 50 miles, and then the magic will wear off, it will lose the message, and it will just fuck off. So are you going to upcast it to give it another because it'll increase it to a total of 72 hours and 150 miles.
I'm gonna upcast it.
Okay, so you're gonna use a level 3 spell slot. Okay, so mark off a third. Yeah, mark off a 3rd level spell slot.
I guess I probably don't need it right now.
It's 10 a.m. There's a lot of day left.
I'm doing it.
That being said, though, I don't know if you've leveled up to 6 yet. But I told everyone they could level up to 6.
I have not.
So you'll get another 3rd level for leveling up. So.
Okay, cool, perfect.
But it won't refill the one that you just marked off. That'll stay marked off.
It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. 150 miles.
Okay, 150 miles. And then what is your 25-word message to your master? Also, you don't need to literally count 25. Give me a general idea, and we'll say that you, over the course of like an hour,
I mean,
you know, take it.
It's
craft it, you know.
It's basically going to be along the lines of, like, I need to know that you're okay, that you're alive, and where you are. Signed, Ataraxia, because she's going to know that name.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if you convey that in your 25 words, the pigeon's eyes will glow green as it magically... Well, first things first, are you going to give the message in common or druidic?
Druidic.
Okay. And then, so yeah, the pigeon's eyes glow green. It magically memorizes the message. You watch as the pigeon begins to fly. And then you watch as it flies west. And you're like, oh, it's going to go around to the city and then, like, loop out. And then it keeps going west, and then it keeps going west. And you watch it fly over the harbor and just fly directly into the ocean. Like, just starts flying out to sea. And then after about 6 miles, you lose sight of it because it crosses the horizon. And it has gone in the direction of the sea at a slightly northwesterly angle.
Uh-oh.
You weren't expecting that one, were you?
I was not.
You were hoping that pigeon started digging a hole. You're like, oh, she's underground.
That's not what I thought, but I definitely wasn't expecting it to go out to fucking sea.
Umberly got her bad news. It's gonna be the next funeral you attend.
Because that means she's either in the north or she's fucking, like, not on this continent.
I will clarify, northwest would be, like, the opposite direction of the north. So,
okay, so she's not on this fucking continent.
Would you like me to transfer you to the overworld map?
Yes, please.
Meanwhile, at the overworld map...
Oh, God.
You think to yourself, well, it was going in this direction or so.
Yep, no, I got it.
So you think there might be islands or something there full of sea monsters that no one ever goes to ever because they destroy all boats that enter. And then you remember them being called the Isles of Living Horror for some reason. Couldn't imagine why. But yeah, the pigeon went in about that direction. Weird.
Can't possibly imagine
probably
why
unrelated.
it would go that direction.
Yeah, probably
or why
unrelated.
it would be called any of that. Oh my god! If ataraxia wasn't a person of peace and love, then would be a dead man. Anyways.
Ataraxia's like, you sent my master to Guantanamo, what the fuck? Or did he?
Dun dun dun!
Yeah, maybe she just polymorphed herself into a fish. And she's like, that's it, I'm done with this whole being human thing. Fish time. And now she lives in the ocean.
Fish time.
People don't try to kill me in the ocean.
Can't get to her. And the pigeon can't get to her. It would probably drown first.
Statistically, yes. But who knows? Maybe the pigeon isn't that dumb.
Something tells me it is. It's a pigeon.
Well, I mean, checks description of spell. No, it doesn't specify.
I guess...
It doesn't specify that it does anything to protect itself. Yeah, it might kill itself. Hey, if in 3 days, but you know that within 3 days, the pigeon will either die or deliver its message, or the spell will fail if they're within 150 miles.
So within a week, I will probably get back if possible.
If on day 7 from right now you don't get a response, either the pigeon died or she's more than 150 miles away, because you know that the spell wouldn't work if she were dead, because there would be no recipient, there would be no target for the spell. So you know she is alive. Whether or not she's within 150 miles, you would have to wait at least 6 days to figure that out. If by 10 a.m. on the 7th day, you don't get an animal back, she's either outside 150 miles or the pigeon didn't make it.
I mean, she was within 150 miles.
When she sent it from wherever she sent it from when you were in Orange.
Yeah.
Which 150 miles would be from Orange Bloom would be about
Kingsphere.
Funnily enough, I will actually make it easy. I'll make it a circle. Anywhere in this circle.
Okay.
She was somewhere within this circle. Or on the edge of it. To be able, assuming she cast it at a 3rd level spell slot. Which, I mean, you remember that she's pretty powerful. So
yeah, she's a much higher level than I am, so she probably
well, I
could
mean,
have cast
NPCs don't
from,
have
like, literally
levels.
anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say NPCs don't have levels, but you know that she's about as good, if not better, than you
yeah.
are currently. So it's not unlogical to assume that she could have sent it from 200 miles away. But you also know, based on the nature of the message, she was under duress when she sent it, and she was in a fight. So you don't know whether that affected how much magic she had left when she cast it, or if that affected how she cast it, why she cast it, where she casted it from, if she casted it from home. Because you remember, within this circle, where you had met up with her in the forest outside of Kingspear, is in this circle. So if you assume she was there when she was attacked, if she sent it from there, she could have sent it to you from there first, and then has since now moved outside this circle. Though it is impossible, obviously, for you to say at this specific moment without getting a message back from her. Or casting, like, Scry or something.
Can I do that?
You can't, no. But when you were in Orange Bloom, and you had the Scry, Clovecross, and you had the Scry Wizard on call, and you used it twice on Flower, you could have been like, hey, well, I got you here.
I wasn't there for that.
I know, but it's the same thing with, like, Cole, right? Cole could have been like, hey, well, I got you here. Can I draw you a picture of my mom? And then, like, we take a peek, see where she is, and he just didn't. So I was like, yeah, he's like, I'm going home then. And then the Scry Wizard left. I mean, you can cast Scry, but I think it's a 4th level spell, which means you're not strong enough yet. And I believe you need a crystal ball worth 1,000 gold to cast it. So if you could find one of those and then level up one more time, because you level 7, I think you get 4th level spell slots, then you could cast it. Though it would be very expensive to do so. And of course, there's always a chance it fails because it's roll based. So.
Yeah. All right.
But hey, gives you a view of them and 10 feet around them for 10 minutes. So that could be worth something. It could be worth nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's worth.
Lets you know if they're moving at the very least. If for 10 minutes you watch them walk in a straight line, you know they're not staying still. Also lets you know if they look different, if they're missing an arm, you know, like notable characteristics that may have changed in the last 10 years, you know. And that spell is also a spell that will not work if someone is deceased. So if you cast it and it doesn't work, then you know she's dead.
Didn't we already determine that she was alive?
Currently
because
she is.
The doppelganger, and also because of the.
Oh no! Yeah, currently.
The fact that the animal thing can go somewhere.
Yeah, as of the moment you cast that animal messenger spell 5 minutes ago, she was alive. Time marches on. Ask Fishbane if time waits for stuff to happen.
What's Fishbane?
Exactly.
Yep. I guess at this point, the only thing left was to see if she could get some information on like what was gathered as evidence against her back when she fled 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably go to that other military officer mentioned, the SEP's assistant. He would probably have copies of all that.
Okay, so I'm going to make my way to the SEP's assistant.
You make your way back to the HQ. You work your way back up the tower. You eventually flag down somebody like, hey, I'm looking for the SEP's assistant. Never caught their name. They eventually bring you to like a smaller office on the same floor as the SEP's office. And they bring you to a dimly lit room where there's a guy feverishly scratching away at papers. And he looks up at you, and by candlelight, and I say candlelight because you notice that he has all the windows like covered, so it's 10 a.m. and it's very dim in here. He just has candles. It's very edgy. And he looks up and he goes, "Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting company. Can I help you?"
Sorry to bother you. I guess technically Well, I'm hoping you can help me with something.
I do love to help.
I'm, let's just say, in the investigating business right now, and I was wondering if you could give me some details on some evidence that was found at a crime scene.
Yes, I have records to that. Oh, we should do introductions. Hi, I'm the assistant sept. I'm the first chair here. My name is Sket Creotote. And he goes to shake, he holds out a hand.
Nice to meet you, Sket. I'm ataraxia, and she's gonna shake his hand.
Pleasure to meet you. You said you were here investigating a crime. Approximately when was it? Approximately when and where was it, allegedly take place?
I feel like we've probably, 22 years ago, if
20-ish,
private was,
yeah.
18, 19.
Yeah.
Probably, we'll say, 22 years ago.
Call it 2 decades, around. You don't need to give an exact day of the week. I know what you mean.
Okay. It's about
it was
20
a
or
foggy
so
April.
years ago. Yeah. Well, Addie does probably know the exact date that it happened,
Yeah,
but he
for the
doesn't
sake
need to
of
know
me
that.
writing this story, I don't need to keep
Yeah.
the timelines get way too detailed for 6 people if we do that. So about 20-ish years ago, something happened.
Yes, so about 20 years ago, and it was in the private barracks.
Well, the only thing I could see here is that would have been the double attempted murder.
Yep, that's the one.
Oh, you should have led with that. That's a very famous case. A lot of people have tried to investigate it, though more often than not, they're called off. I mean, the case already has a verdict. It's closed.
Let's just say I have a hunch that the verdict is false.
Well, that's suspicious. Anyway, and then he'll reach into his paperwork and he'll pull out ye olde manila envelope. And he'll be like, well, let's see here. According to these documentations, it was occurred by yes, it was an Ayla Wanala, very famous nepotism baby from a couple formal generals. They slid her up real easy into the service, and clearly she had some sort of chip on her soldier, because she went to sneak out one day, and according to this, it looks like she stabbed and poisoned 2 guards from the graduating class. They were on watch
while
that
he's
night.
saying this, Eddie's jaw is gonna tense.
Yeah, and he doesn't notice. He just keeps going. He's completely oblivious. He's like, yep, she stabbed 2 guards, poisoned them with the knife. They're actually, and he kind of flips through his paper, they're actually, they're still in a coma to this day. We can't cure them. So that's pretty fucked up. Don't know how she pulled that one off. There was an investigation, and then of course she deserted, which is a 3rd crime. They found the knife, obviously, as well as it seems like she left basically all of her issued equipment and left in plain clothes to sneak out. Snuck out, didn't get seen ever for 20 years. So at a certain point, after a few months of her family trying to explain that it wasn't her, but her never coming back to clear her name, an investigation was launched into the family. It was found that her mother and father manipulated their position in order to get her into the high life of military. Once she graduated, she was going to have a very cushy position, do whatever she wanted. Once that was found out, they were absolutely ripped apart. It looks like several different military positions, it seems like they banded together to basically force a vote, and had them stripped of their position for the blatant favoritism, which, saying out loud, is actually kind of uncharacteristic, because to a degree everyone kind of helps out the people they know in power. Nothing that significant, but it's weird that they were so outspoken against it. Whatever. This was 20 years ago. I wasn't there. Then, of course, there's about a year after that, as those investigations closed up and we still couldn't find her, the one person who kept vouching for her was her brother. At this time, he was a vice captain. It seems like his blatant refusal of the guilty verdict led him to be investigated. He was investigated. He was found guilty. It seems he had found out about what his parents were doing, didn't report them, and instead made arrangements on his own end to basically shuffle her around. Basically, she could have asked to be transferred whenever, wherever, without any. And basically, he would have been the one who got the approval, and he was planning on just approving it regardless, to give her a sense of some type of freedom. Either way, it seems like he got caught for that. He was stripped of rank, and he was assigned to the Penitent Legion for conspiracy, for dragging it out that long and not coming clean when his parents were indicted. So he was sent to the fort in the south to basically die. He didn't. I guess that's a testament to how competent he was. After about 10, 15 years, he had worked his way back up to vice captain, and was basically running operations at the fort. He actually applied to go back into the Penitent Legion, which is uncharacteristic, but for some reason it was accepted. This was probably a year ago. He got the job as a marshal under the Penitent Legion, basically immediately excelled at his job, got moved up to high marshal for being successful, and then funnily enough, as soon as he took high marshal, he specifically requested to take over the cold case of this incident, which was strange because it's a closed case, but I mean, if he seemed to think there was more to it, or to think that she was out there somewhere and potentially doing something else. I don't know. The guy, frankly, he scares me. I try not to talk to him or look him in the eye. But he did that, and then, and then he's been investigating that case for 6 months. He was the one who actually, when the new bounty system got floated, he endorsed it. He's the reason we revamped the bounty system, which is why she was one of the first bounties printed. We didn't get any hits on those bounties, so he actually updated them a little while ago. Still didn't get any hits on those bounties, but then allegedly he managed to interact with someone that she knew, and from what I heard, they're locked up in the basement. Like, I guess he got them. Allegedly, she took out like 30 soldiers in the process, so she's going to like the turbo gallows for that, but also aiding and abetting. I guess that's a separate case, though. I don't know, that's above me. And then, everything after that, it looks like it hasn't been updated. I mean, I know that the person held downstairs was supposed to get executed tomorrow. From last I heard, he left the city, though. I don't know if he suspended that, or that's probably, I assume he talked to the Sept. Not everything goes through me. I'm very busy, just like the Sept is very busy. We're basically like bros. But yeah, I mean, that's the open and shut of it. At least that's in the paperwork here. I mean, I remember a little bit of it from when I was younger. I was, let's see, where was I at the time? I was like a staff sergeant at the time. I was just getting my wings. Like, I had just got out of basic like 3 or 4 years before that. I was just doing like pencil pushing paperwork, and then I woke up one morning, and I remember the city was on high alert. We thought we had been invaded, and there were 2 guys that everyone thought was dead. They locked the city down. As soon as they declared that it was no longer a threat, they pulled every single person out of the barracks. They lined them up. They emptied their gear, and the only person missing was her, so it obviously had to be her. And then they looked and they saw that her knife was missing, and then they found her knife in the people, or in one of them anyway, that got stabbed. So another point against her, you could say. And yeah, it looked like I remember everyone was talking at the time. At first, no one believed it, because why would, obviously you literally were on a gravy train. Like, why would you do that? Also, what's a train? Anyway, and he just kind of starts rambling to himself. He's just like, you. At a certain point, you realize he's just re-speaking. Like, he just kind of keeps saying shit he already said, Whether it's because he has difficulty staying on track or he just likes talking, but he just kind of like, eventually you realize that he's just kind of looping. Like, he hasn't added any additional information that isn't his opinion.
Mm-hmm. And what exactly, sorry to cut you off, but the knives, or knife, rather.
Yep.
How exactly did they know it was hers?
Well, they did an equipment inspection, and every private obviously has to upkeep their equipment. And every single private had their equipment in their room with their gear cleaned, assembled, in their box, ready for inspection. Except her in her room was her equipment, but no knife, and no her. And then they found the knife at the scene of the second stabbing. So ergo, it kind of had, if only one knife was missing, and only one person were missing with that knife, and then you find an exact copy of that knife, and every other knife is accounted for, it would lead one to believe, unless you had the ability to magically copy an object exactly, which to my knowledge doesn't exist, it would have to be her knife. At least that's what the tribunal. That's the tribunal. That's what they said.
I have above board questions.
Yes.
First one: would Addie know if, like, when someone was in the military, or whatever, when they were given their equipment, was it marked with initials or like kind of like a rank, like a number or anything in particular that specifically said it was hers?
No, it's mass produced. So it's very similar to modern day military, where you get a backpack of your starting stuff, and it's like, and this is your starting stuff. This is your stuff from now until you leave the military. You will give this back when you leave the military. So it's like your knife, your spear, your medium armor, your fatigues, your backpack, and it's like just standard stuff.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is 100% possible for somebody else in the barracks to have done it, and then just taken Ataraxia's knife from hers and claimed it as their own?
Theoretically. Assuming there was someone who could gain access, who knew that you were going to leave and could somehow access your room, then yes, that is theoretically possible.
Would Ataraxia know of anybody that would have known that she was leaving?
Oh, that depends. In your backstory, did you tell anyone that you were thinking of leaving? That's a you question.
I feel like if she would have told anybody, it would have been Eleonora, but even that's questionable.
Wow, you look like you're deep in thought. You must really be one of those big-time investigators. You're thinking like theories and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, city's been pretty crazy. I mean, I remember, when I was working for the last Sept, he got killed. That was crazy. But yeah, we got this anonymous tip that orcs were gonna attack Fishbane. So once we got that tip, I ran it up to the Sept, and he was like, well, can't let that happen because, like, defending that nation and all that stuff, the military. We didn't know how they were even going to get past the fort, but obviously we took it seriously. I wanted to go. Personally, I said, let me lead. And the Sept was like, no way, Scat, you're too valuable. So he said he would do it himself. And then he took his personal guys, right? And then they're on the way to Fishbane. They got attacked, intercepted. We found them like a day or two after they didn't report in when they got there. And we found them all stabbed up with like these crude like weapons, these crude metal weapons, like orc arrows with like poison. Very cowardly. But yeah, they were totally wiped. No survivors. They were totally wiped out. Tragic.
Wow.
If I were there, it would have gone different, obviously. But I wasn't, so.
Oh, yeah, of course. By any chance, do you have a list of the privates at the time that this crime happened?
I mean, that's like 100 people, but I could make one. I couldn't tell you how many were still enrolled in the military or alive. We would probably need to cross-reference that with every general at every town to see like who is still breathing. or who just retired, right? I mean, some people just leave the service and then they go live in the woods, or they go to a different country.
How long would that take?
Oh, like days.
Or so?
Because no disrespect, ma'am, but I do have a job that I have to do. I have to run a city that, for the record, has so many supplies. We are siege proof, by the way.
You don't need to give me the spiel. I heard it. Thanks.
Oh, you spoke to the set, right? Of course. Of course, he told you. Obviously, we're ironclad. We're so good right now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of diverting the funds actually to build an extra warehouse because we have so much shit that we can't store personally.
I'm gonna be real straight with you. I think the money can go towards better things.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. I said that.
I know.
Anyway, yeah, you were saying about money. Something about money.
I wasn't prepared for that. I'm so sorry.
I make that joke every time.
I'm gonna be really honest here with you. I feel like the money can be better placed elsewhere.
I mean, that's subjective. It's fair enough. We could probably buy, like, more bows or something.
Sure.
I don't know. I heard Moonglow has this super cool set of armor. We could spend like 3,000 gold on it, and one guy could wear it, and he'd probably look pretty cool. I think I could fit in it personally. It's about my size. That's a great idea. Actually, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down. Actually, I think I'm gonna buy that for me.
Actually, real quick, could you just stand up, just for a moment?
He stands up.
I'm guessing he's not very.
Oh no, he's
large.
like skinny as fuck, weighs 90 pounds, soaking wet, and he's the worst part of 5 foot. Like, he's not tough.
Like, definitely shorter than Addie, and not large.
He's on a good day, like wearing new shoes. He's barely taller than Sai, if you don't count the horns. But he's he's lighter than Sai. He's made of paper. He is a pencil pusher. It just seems that he hasn't realized it yet.
Addie's gonna nod a bit and be like, "Hey, you know what? Don't let your dreams be dreams." I'm trying to think if there's any other information I can get from this guy. Oh, what exactly? I heard there was like a poison of sorts on the knife. Do you know exactly what that was? Was that identified?
No, that's the crazy part, right? Like, we don't know what it is. She has somehow either made or found a poison that doesn't function like a poison. So, like, the two guys that she stabbed didn't die. But ever since she stabbed them, they've been in a coma. They haven't aged. They're pale as a ghost, but they stop bleeding. And they're breathing, but they won't wake up. And they're not undead. And every spell and antidote we've tried to cure poison doesn't work.
Do I know of anything like that?
No. That makes no fucking sense. I mean, I'll tell you what. You can roll a very difficult nature check. Maybe.
Here we go.
0, 0, 0, 0. Come on, 0, 0. 16. With a 16, you got nothing. Like, you're thinking of every poison, every berry, every venom, every bug, every reptile, every turtle, every toad you can lick. You're thinking of everything. And you're like, I've never heard that. Like, everything is curable, right? By definition. Because there's something that was exposed to it at some point in the world that would have had to have been exposed to it that had to be cured. You know, berries that poison, there's typically leaves that antidote. If something stings you, there's antibodies you can develop. There's antivenom you can make. Antidotes are good for most of that. You used lesser restoration and you cured a disease from a demon a day ago, right? With a 2nd level spell slot. The fact that it's not curable makes 0 sense. Like, it would have had to have been fabricated in some way to be resistant to those methods of curing. which you don't know of any animal in nature could do. Maybe someone who has more of a like an analytical type persuasion might be able to think of an alternative theory. Like maybe you could ask Brontes and he could think if there's any like spells that look like poison. Maybe, not that you've ever heard of them or that he's ever mentioned them, but you could try. Like you could kind of put your heads together and maybe figure something out. But as far as you're concerned, like he's speaking functionally, like as far as nature's concerned, he's speaking nonsense.
Okay. Well, that's one more arrow pointing towards I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it? Oh, damn, you had me fooled. Here I am thinking you did it.
Can I be so above board real quick? Can I be so real with you? I was so nervous.
Which part?
That I was gonna say something and you were just gonna have the castigator grab me and I was gonna be like, I didn't know I did that. What do you mean?
Caesar.
Anyways, where are the people that got stabbed that are in the comas? Where are they right now?
We made a special wing for them in the infirmary. That we have it's not round the clock, but we have a couple of nurses. They check in on them every once in a while. I mean, the issue is they can't exist by themselves, so like they can't swallow. So in order to get them water, you need to pour water down their throat, but make sure they don't choke. They can't eat, so you need to feed them. So like somehow, usually it's very difficult and it's very stressful. Obviously,
the old NG tube.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that. It's like they're mashing up food and they're just kind of holding their head in an angle and like rubbing, and they're just hoping they don't aspirate it, right? Like it's very like we are trying our best to keep them alive. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, it's like that's the best they got. I mean, like every now and then we can buy like potions from traveling merchants that maybe it's like, oh, you drink this potion, you get all the food you need for a day, like, and that makes it easy for the day. But it's constant work. I mean, the wounds closed, but they never healed. So like the bleeding stopped, but you know, they're still unconscious.
Like a scar?
It's not even like a scar. It looks like an open wound. It looks like a wound that just stopped bleeding, like a second ago. But it's been 20 years. It's like it's like it froze them in the moment before death, but it keeps them there and it can't be cured. And frankly, and he kind of looks around, I don't even know if we should cure them. Based on that, if we cure them, they might just die. It might be the only thing keeping them alive at this point. We have no idea medically what's going on with them. She really fucked these guys up. I think that's why Dane's so insistent on getting her. I mean, she's functionally gotten away with it for 20 years. Yeah, her parents got in trouble, but it's not like they got executed. They got banished. They're still alive. You know, they're still doing things, as far as I know. No one really got in trouble. No one died. No one got their hands cut off. No one, as far as these guys' families are concerned, they've gone unavenged. They got away with it.
By any chance, can I see them?
I mean, sure, you can go down to the infirmary. It's not like it's a restricted section, but no one ever goes there because it just kind of makes them feel really bad. And also, some people are concerned that maybe it'll spread. I mean, it hasn't spread in 20 years. I don't think that's an actual threat. I don't think it's a disease. But you know how superstitions get, especially everything that happened at King Shield. I'm sorry, at Lord's Fingers. There was some sort of incident with like a rat outbreak, and everyone started dying of some crazy disease out of nowhere. Ever since then, people got really nervous about it.
What? That's insane.
Apparently, there's also a circus tiger that's killing people in that area. I don't know how those are related, but...
Oh, no! I hope that was a joke!
What are you talking about? Yeah, it all happened at about the same time. I hear they're better now. Only a few of them died, but it's like, apparently some people came in and helped them out. That's how they found out that it was rats, but... How those guys let their thing get infected by rat. I mean, talk about lowered standards. That would never happen here. Imagine, if you could, such a secure city as this, allowing something to secretly exist underneath the watchful eye of the military couldn't happen. Not in this city. Not for sure.
Also, just want to circle back real quick. How's the tiger situation doing?
Oh, I don't know. It's just a thing. apparently some of the scouts say every now and then they see a tiger, like a white tiger, like just around in the woods. It usually doesn't mess with the military, but they've said they've seen 1 or 2 people who are traveling alone that looks like they got attacked. Apparently they found a circus group, and it seems like the circus group got stuck in the woods. They found most of them dead. They were attacked by various bears, animals, other things. But it seems like either in the process, it seems like there was some sort of incident, and in the process, a bunch of the animals got out. Most of the animals are unaccounted for, though they did find a monkey that something happened to it. It looks like it got burned. So I don't know if they tried to fight back. One of them might have been able to cast spells. Something might have happened, but all I know is that apparently there's, I mean, the kind, if the circus animals got out, the kind of those animals are almost certainly dead. I mean, there's owl bears and stuff in that area that would rip them apart, you know, like a decorative deer or whatever. But the tiger, on the other hand, it would be used to the woods. It could probably stay alive, even with its coloration. So it's a threat. I mean, if it becomes an actual problem, I'm sure they'll hunt it down. Or they'll get lazy and they'll just put a bounty out for it. But either way, like, it's probably, it's a low priority, I'm sure. Then again, nothing's ever actually attacked Fort Lord's Fingers, ever. It's just kind of there to be there. Like, nothing's ever got that far because of King's Shield. So, like, maybe that's why they're so lax, personally. But I couldn't tell you. I've never been deployed there. I've been in Kingspear my whole life, in terms of deployment.
All right. That was a lot of information that I wasn't prepared for.
Well, that's the definition of me, baby. I'm the information guy. Or something. I don't know. I'm workshopping a nickname.
And, do you have any other information, opinions, anything you could share about the crime or the family or anyone else surrounding the case?
I mean, in terms of just like stuff that I've heard that the parents got split up because they conspired together, so can't let them do that again. So they split them up, and they stuck one at Fort Black and one at Fort White out in the east, and they're basically exiled there in like fake advisory positions, and I think they're just kind of hoping that the Beast People kill them in one of the raids. As far as I heard, it hasn't happened yet, but they're literally not allowed to come back. So it's live there until they die, and that's it. Like, unless some miraculous shit happens and it all turns out to be one giant misunderstanding, in which case, whoopsie, sorry for taking 20 years of your life, but I feel like at that point, 20 years, I feel like something would have happened by now, personally. Someone would have seen something. I mean, no one, if this was some sort of master conspiracy, something would have happened by now. I don't think all of us are so inept that we would have missed some sort of critical piece of information in regards to what happened. That there's some magical silver dagger, I almost said silver bullet, those don't exist, silver dagger that could blow the case wide open. Like, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only thing that could maybe do that is if, you know, Isla came back.
I feel like if she did, she'd just be like immediately arrested and like hung. Probably.
You would think.
You'd think, right? Like, if Dane ever found her, you know, he'd probably just like fuck her up. I mean, unless of course something happened where like she could somehow plead her case, but he's hated her for like, I don't know, 15 years. At first he was really in her camp, but then as his family got worse and worse and worse treatment, she just never came back and never set the record straight or like helped or clarified or did anything. So he watched his parents get dragged through town, their name destroyed, their reputation destroyed, exiled to death. Well, not quote unquote to death, exiled forever.
You know.
And then of course they came for him, and she still didn't come back. And then he got his name dragged through the mud, and then his stuff was stripped, and then he got exiled to death for real this time. He fought for his entire career to not die, to work his way to where he was in the beginning, specifically to find her. And now he's trying. Now he didn't even find her. He found like someone who knew her, though from what I hear, she never talked. That's why she's in like maximum security downstairs. Like she never said anything. So that's why I probably should have told that to you. Actually, now that I think about that, I didn't say any of that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have the grace of a bull in a magic shop. You know what? Pretend we didn't speak for like the last 5 minutes. We sat here in an awkward silence.
Okay, but I have a question.
I don't know what you'd have a question about, seeing as we haven't spoken, but go for it.
That's cool. How could she have come back? Like, what if she didn't know any of that was happening?
I feel like she'd have to be rather ignorant of the world's occurrences. Like, she would have had to literally live under a rock or in the woods. Like, every city.
Oh, what a concept! What a concept!
It was in the paper. It was a massive scandal. Like, they had to go to the Capitol for trial. Like, it was a huge deal. Like, it's because you gotta think about who her parents were, right? They were high rank. They were some of the highest ranking generals. They literally had access to, like, some of the draconic advisors who you aren't supposed to know exist. I didn't say that. But this conversation never happened. There are no draconic advisors. That's stupid. But if there were, they had access to them, allegedly. And then they turncoated, and they did all the stuff they did, and it just shows a massive disregard for what, like, the rules they were willing to bend, right? And if they were willing to bend the rules, they might have been willing to utilize military assets like the draconic advisors that don't exist, as we've covered. They don't exist for evil, or at least for personal gain. And so, obviously, that was an issue. But you obviously can't kill him outright, because a lot of people would be like, well, you know, you never actually found her, right? And so if you never actually found her, you can never subject her to a spell to make her tell the actual truth. So technically speaking, there still maybe is kind of a way, which obviously there isn't, because it's been 20 years and we would have found a way. But if there were a way, maybe it didn't happen the way we thought it would. But at this point, the military's kind of in too deep. I don't even think if you proved that it didn't happen that way, they'd actually ever say it, because then they would look really bad. Granted, I guess who would look bad? The Sept, but the Sept is dead, and the new Sept kind of doesn't care, because he wasn't Sept then. So I guess what I'm saying is military politics is really stupid. But I didn't say that, because we haven't talked.
Yeah, yep, above board question.
Go for it.
Addie literally lived in the fucking woods?
Yeah.
So she didn't know this was happening?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. How convenient.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't some backstory shit that I wasn't aware of.
You literally,
that, like, I was
literally
supposed to have
lived in
known
the woods. You lived under a rock. The world did not wait for you. You lived under a metaphorical rock. You left the woods when you were comfortable. Time had not stood still.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
A recurring theme in this solo episode.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go now.
I don't know how you would leave, seeing as we never had this conversation. But have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, and seeing as we never had this conversation, I'll have you know I was living under a rock, and I'm just gonna walk out.
You feel the suck in of wind, like he's going to say something, and then you hear, like, the sound of a singular gear turning in his head, and then it catches like a cobweb and malfunctions, and he just doesn't know what you mean by that. He's like, she's referencing something, but I don't know what. And then by the time he comes to, like, he formulates an actual thought, you're out of the room. And he's like, He's like, that never happened. I've been hallucinating for 20 minutes. And then you just hear, eventually you hear the scratching of paper go. It's like, what a weird daydream. Anyway, I gotta fucking get some light in here.
I should have used. Wait, is it too late to use Druidcraft to blow out all the fucking candles?
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let you aura farm the guy doing his job. Murderer. Double attempted murderer.
I didn't! I did not!
I see no proof. The proof says you did it.
The proof is bullshit!
I don't know. Where's the knife, Addie? Where's the knife?
I don't fucking know!
Well,
That's what I went there to get, but he didn't have it!
No, he didn't
He just
have
had records! Where the fuck's the knife? Ophis, where's the knife?
Could be anywhere. Have you checked the guy's back? Maybe it's still in there.
No, because that's where I'm going. No, they said he literally said they removed it.
Yeah.
Can I go back and ask him where the knife is?
You go back and ask him. He's like, oh, that person I didn't talk to. How can I help you?
Yeah. I go back. Hey, one more thing that we didn't talk about. Where is the knife?
The knife from the case we didn't discuss. And he goes and pulls out a piece of paper. The paper. He goes, I don't know. It says here that it was put into evidence with the file, but I'm not seeing it here. Must have been misplaced at some point in the last 20 years.
Oh, fuck me.
I mean,
okay,
in
bye.
fairness, it's a random knife from a closed case 2 decades ago. Like, I could see it getting accidentally thrown out when we were just like making space for new cases. You know, time marches on.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm gonna go now.
Goodbye.
We never spoke
Again. Yeah, person I didn't speak to, who I guess maybe doesn't live under rocks or something. Oh, she's leaving. Bye.
All right. So I'm gonna now make my way to the infirmary.
You make your way downstairs to the infirmary. There's an infirmary. It seems like there's like 1 or 2 people getting treated for like twisted ankles or like bum knees. They fell and they skinned their shoulder. And then you get to the back and there's like 2 drawn curtains, and you peel the curtains back and you see 2 very emaciated, very pale men in just like regular clothing, and you immediately recognize them as, you didn't catch their names because they weren't like in your deployment, like they weren't in your group, your squad, you could say, but you remember them from your class because they look exactly the way they did 20 years ago. They look like they're 18 or 19 years old. It's just, you're like, oh, I remember these guys. Like, we graduated at the same time. They were on the guys who drew like first watch during like the celebration night when you snuck out, when it's like, oh, congratulations, you made it. They were watching, and then they were going to switch out, and then they were going to get their party. And then you're like,
it's not, they're not like some people that I would 100% be like friends with and
no,
never have stabs.
No, you were like, it was like a class of 100 people, right? And you were in squads of like 10. So you knew of these guys. You're like, oh, these guys were in like squad 5 or something. But it has been 20 years and you haven't thought of them since then. And your intelligence is like 12. So it's like you don't have a photographic memory. So it's like, okay, I remember them, if only because it's the same way that when you look at like an old video of like you doing a play in 3rd grade, but you're 27, and you're like, oh, I remember that. I remember the guy who sat next to me at lunch, like at the desk next to me. I remember we sang that song about turtles. Like his name was like Zach or something, right? Like you think it like that. It's the same thing here.
Yeah.
You're like 20 years ago, like, oh, I remember this. I saw this dude at lunch once. I think his name was like Thomas. Maybe he was in like Squad 5. He was like everyone was talking about how he sucked with a bow, like something like that. You're like, I definitely know of this person. I know he is a real person. He's actually in the military. I did serve with him technically. And you would remember, you're like, yeah, I snuck past this guy. Like, to get out, I would have had to sneak past this guy. But you're very confident you did that without him noticing you. And you're pretty confident you didn't shiv him when you did it. So...
And I'm pretty confident he wasn't shivved when I left.
Yeah, and he was definitely shiv-free when you snuck past him. You're like, oh, he's awake and unshivved, so I need to sneak past him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in fairness, you also don't remember concocting a super poison, so then again, maybe you were just really drunk that night. Who knows?
See, that's what I was nervous about. Anyways, can I like look at the wound that the guy said that they had?
Yeah, do a medicine check.
Gaping.
With a 10, I mean,
average.
You notice that the wounds are different on both people. One of them, the wound is on the back, like just to the left of like the lower spine, like right where the spine meets like the waist. It doesn't sever the spine, like the guy's not paralyzed, but it's like right next to it on the left. And you're like, oh, this dude was like, he was clearly stabbed in the back. Like there's no, the knife is clean in and out. It looks like there was no twisting. It's not like he was mid-twist when he got stabbed. It looks like he was caught completely unaware. The second guy, he has a stab like directly in the stomach. Like he was stabbed, like he was locking eyes with the dude who stabbed him when he got stabbed. Whether that was because he saw the other guy got stabbed or heard something or just the way that it worked out, it's impossible to say based just on the thing. But you see one definitive stab wound on each person in 2 very different spots with a 10. Listen, here's what you do, right? Just kill them. If you kill them, then they've got no evidence.
Dead.
Then they've got no evidence. It can't be attempted murder if there's no people that you attempted to murder. I like how you immediately went to problem solving. You're like, oh, well, I'll kill him and speak with dead and I'll get my answers. I was like, no, just kill him. Just remove evidence.
Would detect thoughts work?
Click detect thoughts.
I don't have it. I don't have it in my actual book, but I have it. I looked it up. It's a 2nd level spell.
I know. Believe it or not, I'm very good at what I do. I don't have every druid spell memorized.
I'll read it. I can read it too. It's fine. You activate one of the effects below until the spell ends. You can activate either effect as a magic action on your later turns. Sense thoughts. You sense the presence of thoughts within 30 feet of yourself that belong to creatures that know languages or are telepathic. You don't read the thoughts, but you know that a thinking creature is present. Read thoughts. Target one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself, or one creature within 30 feet of yourself that you detected with the Sense Thoughts option. You learn what is most on the target's mind right now. If the target doesn't know any languages and isn't telepathic, you learn nothing.
Oh, yeah, you think that would work. Did you prepare that spell?
Nope!
Unfortunate.
Can I just say Addie long rests?
You could start long resting, but that means you would. Well, first, actually, no, you can't long rest because you can only long rest once per day, and you just finished a long rest 2 hours ago. So, unfortunately, you need to wait till tonight to long rest. So you long rested 4 hours ago, and then you got to the city at 8. But you have a wizard who could go to the store, buy a scroll of Detect Thoughts, put it in his spell book, and then cast it.
I could also do that though, can I?
Oh, you will.
As a magic caster?
If you cast it, then the scroll is destroyed. If he puts it in his book, he has the spell forever. So technically, it's more efficient if you do it through Brontes. But yeah, you could just go to the store, buy it, and then come back.
But I could also just cast it
tomorrow,
forever,
yes.
Because I know the spell. It's just a day from now I'll be able to do it.
That's what I'm saying. If you want, I'm saying your ways to cast Detect Thoughts right now are buy a scroll, Detect Thoughts, come back, cast it. Or buy a scroll, Detect Thoughts, give it to Brontes. Brontes takes 4 hours, puts it in his book, has Detect Thoughts forever, and can cast it multiple times today. Equal to the amount of 2nd and 3rd level spell slots he has. Those are your 2 options. Because I'll tell you this right now, there's no one else in the party who has that spell. I believe it is a wizard and druid spell.
The issue is Addie's completely on her own right now, and...
Correct. You could go back and go, hey, Brontes.
Yeah, that would mean I just have to get Brontes IRL involved.
Yeah.
For like a moment and see if he's even willing to do that.
Well, remember, it would take multiple hours. So it would be like you need to you need to go upstairs, get Brontes, walk to presumably Moonglow, say, hey, do you have a scroll of Detect Thoughts? Hope they have one in stock. Buy it, walk back to somewhere private, give it to Brontes. It's 2 hours per spell level. It's a 2nd level spell, so that's 4 hours of Brontes in quiet contemplation, putting it in his book. Then he's done with that. That's 4.5 hours. Then he can go to them. He can cast it, right? And then he can tell you what he found. Or you buy it and cast it, but then it's gone forever. Also, it would cost like, was it 150 gold? I think for a 2nd level spell scroll.
Fuck.
It's not cheap. It's like anything that's
like totally off the table then right now.
Well, I mean, you could always ask people for money. You go pickpocket Sai, take all her money. She doesn't even she doesn't even have any money. She gave it all to Fang to pay her debt. Or hear me out. You investigate the cult, make some money, buy a spell scroll, and then you're good.
Listen, I don't know if you've picked up on this, but I'm trying to do as much of my story as I can without involving everybody else.
Fair enough. But unfortunately, it seems like through some cosmic will, some sort of master manipulator, someone who guides the story forward, has put you at what one would call an impasse. It seems like you're going to have to get some people involved. Imagine that.
Great.
It's almost like this is a group game, and you need to come out of your singular shell and learn to trust your group. You've gotten a lot by yourself, but you think you'll need all of your friends to get you to the end.
Yeah. Whatever.
Though I will say, this has been a lot of multiple hours of walking around the city, I will say, if you want...
We got a lot more out of this than I expected, if I'm going to be real.
I will say, what we will say is you can, at this point, you can take some quiet contemplation to yourself, and then you can reconvene with the party at conveniently the next time that all 6 of you play a session.
We'll
say
probably
a couple
end
hours.
Up doing. What I'll probably end up doing is going in the group chat and being like, "Hey, so here's the sitch."
Fair enough, but I mean, like, in terms of the chronology, obviously, the next time the group play, we're doing this obviously because you're not going to be here. So when they play tomorrow, Friday, what they do is going to be happening while you're off beat bopping around, and I'm just going to conveniently say that whenever they go somewhere, it's going to be right when you left, and then the next time we play, when everyone's here, conveniently, you will walk in the room because your quiet contemplation will have ended, and then at that point you can say, "Hey guys," and then I tell them everything I told them in the group chat. So scroll to detect thoughts, or occult research, or we do some investigating, or we deal with the pirates, or we do the fucking super scary thing outside the town that we all ignored, or we do any of the other 6 things that I set up. Or you go sit in a corner and read 3 books. You know, you could also just ignore all.
That sounds like a great.
You could also
idea.
just ignore everything that's happened and go read 3 books, and they find you in 2 days. And you're like, "God, this was a good book," and then you look up and the city's on fire. You're like, "Oh yeah, forgot about that."
Whoops!
Whoopsie. Just like Fishbane all over again, am I right, guys? Then with the nature check and final investigations of the 2 poisoned individuals completed, and a quiet thought to yourself about maybe future endeavors like detect thoughts, or bringing in Brontes for a more in-detailed investigation of the bodies to try to learn something that maybe you've missed. You eventually take some time to go into some quiet contemplation to think about everything that you've learned about that has happened today in what is apparently a very, very long morning. As many, many different avenues and doors have opened themselves to you and filled your mind with information that you didn't think you were quite ready to process just yet, and then now you think it is in your best interest to take the next few hours to sit, decompress, and enjoy a good story. Until next time.
As the events of the day rattled firmly around in her head, and Ataraxia spent the rest of her time enjoying a new book series, or one could say an old book series, re-experiencing the joy for the first time. Deep within, something was stirring. Inside the tiara laid upon her head, a soul weapon bestowed by one of the most powerful dragon gods that have ever existed, a singular spirit of a small child stirred. The information of today, warping their perception of what is and what was. The realization of time marching on, an inability to take back what has been done, and the realizations of what it means to move on, to move forward. How fast 20 years can flash forward in the blink of an eye and everything can change. Except for you, except for them, except for her. Realizations of family drama, the incidents with Dane, the sharp emotions, the pain, the anxiety, the fear brought upon by Ataraxia's reconvening with a long-lost brother, one who now seemingly hates her and hunts her to the end of the earth for her decisions, though not decisions that she regrets, decisions simply that she wishes didn't have results that did. As a result of all this, unbeknownst to Ataraxia, the crown begins to heat up and vibrate. In the empty slots above her head, the metal warps slightly, bending, twisting, darkening, ever so slightly. And in the empty slots above her eyes, the 4th and 5th gem slots, a dark emerald green gem and a milky gray gem push forward, unknown, power echoing throughout the metal casing that rests upon her head. And in deep, deep contemplation, somewhere in that crown, a transformation begins to occur. The self-reflection and occurrence of the spirit that dwells within seemingly attempt to come to reality with that which can only be seen through exposure, and understanding that time marches on.